wireless telegraphy and all these things, the radio is the worst thing yet. The devil, he gets a hold of that which God has permitted us to have and corrupts it by his corruptible way of doing things. Just like he did with provision. Before provision, only people of age could go to a saloon and get intoxicating drinks. And they were set off in different places in the city, and according to the law, they couldn't come any closer. The neighbors could petition them out if they wanted to, prevent them from coming if they wanted to, and there was a law to that effect. And it wasn't long until, from the platform, preachers began to meddle in politics and civil things out here, and they got provision. Well, they said that now we'll take all of our prisons and so forth and convert them into institutions, like orphans' home and asylums and hospitals and so forth and so on. And we do away with all of these big old penitentiaries we've been building. I told them then, I said, you'll never do it. I said, you're wrong. You're going to have something worse now than ever. I said, well, how could you say that? Why, I said, because you're fooling with the devil. And the devil is wiser than you are. The devil knows how to do things better than you do. So, wasn't long until they had provision. Wasn't long until all those places in the cities where the law prohibited them from having saloons and so forth, they put distilleries and breweries down in the basements. Put distilleries and breweries down in the basement, and where there's nothing but elderly people, people of age, could go to a saloon and back at the back door and get their growler, the can they rush, as they call it, beer can, get it filled. Now they've got girls down there, children, making home brew, and pouring them on everybody's drunks, slopping down home brew, and getting them to taste it and getting the habit of drinking it, alcoholics and so forth. And then after the devil got breweries and distilleries on every block, more or less, in the cities, he said, now go ahead and take it away. I've got the thing fixed. Take it away. And it wasn't no time until the automobiles and the trucks were peddling home brew and moonshine, and young women were drinking it, young men were drinking it. They was getting drunk and being thrown, loaded up in automobiles like hogs that were stuck in the slaughterhouse. Shut down and thrown into an old truck or a wagon. I saw it, and most everybody that's been out of the nighttime sees those things right now. Well, do you know that prohibition became the greatest curse? One of the greatest curses that we've ever had in this country, as well as the automobile is one of the greatest curses that we ever had in this country. And the things that we think so much about and think we're going to eradicate, destroy, do away with this corruption are the very things that are bringing it into the world more and more all the time. Yes, indeed. They preached it, that is, the devil did, on billboards and so forth up and down the road. And had people believing when prohibition was done away with, and we were going to have saloons and sell it and buy it wherever we wanted to. What a great thing that was going to be. And I happened to be in a grocery. This fellow had a saloon there, and that was that Jew over on Market Street. And they had preached what we were going to have when prohibition was done away with. And one young woman came in there, and she called for a bottle of beer. And that poor deceived child stood there and took a drink of it, looked around at Sam. She said, is this what you've been talking about? It's going to be so good with prohibition. She found out that it wasn't so good after all. It was like drinking quinine. If you like quinine, you like to taste the beer. And mostly came from the sacred stand. Mostly came from the sacred stand. All these things were going to make things better. But we've got a corrupt world today that ministers took a part in. And had they have not flirted with the legislators in Washington, but had stayed on the job and enforced the precious law of God, then we would have had a country today worthwhile, where we've got a country of corruption, and our young folks are growing right up in it, being destroyed as fast as they become old enough. Therefore, I would not endorse putting a television set in my home, and especially if you've got children in there and you want to raise them right, why, I'd certainly do away with it. Brother Sowders, now you're causing me to cause some people may say you're getting lopsided. Brother Sowders, the children that come here to this church, should they play with other children that don't come here? My father used to tell me, Willie, if ever I catch you with that boy again, or with them boys again, I'm going to whip you until you can't sit down. He did that because he knew that if I mingled or associated with other boys, there was no use for him to tell me what to do, because I was going to do what them boys did, and that's exactly what I done. Every chance I got, get out among them. Well, I was doing what they done instead of doing what my father told me to do. Mother begged me, said, Willie, don't you chew tobacco. Son, it'll do this and it'll do that to you. And I said, Mother, I won't. But I got with some boys one day, and they gave me a chew of holdfast, plug tobacco, and I vomited that stuff out of my nose, eyes, ears, and mouth. And I said, I'll never take another chew. But I got among the same boys again. He had a father that he could steal tobacco from, and he'd divide that holdfast among the boys, and we'd all have another chew and another six-fifth. Now, it won't do. If you want your children to grow up and to be what you want them to be, the more you keep them separated from other children that are not under the same teaching, the better off you and your children are going to be. Now, if we don't get to the Word, don't get worried now. We'll get to it directly, the Lord willing. Is it wrong to go fishing? I've talked to some. They say they feel it is all right. Something tells me it is wrong. How about this? Something tells you it's wrong to go fishing, don't you go. For anything that you do that is not of faith, to him, Paul said, it is sin. To him it is sin. And anything that is not of faith, Paul declares in the 14th chapter of Romans to us, it's sin. But if you want to go fishing for the purpose of catching fish to eat and not getting out sporting around and so forth, how could you make sin out of that? Tell me how you can make sin out of it. I was called to preach the gospel while I was in my yacht, and it was a fishing boat. And I've never heard of a man outside, I've never heard of a man these last days that had an experience like I did. And it pleased God to call fishermen to follow him. And since it pleased God to call fishermen to follow him, somehow or another, it isn't so bad to fish. And one better, Jesus went fishing with them. Jesus went fishing with them, and how could you condemn fishing when our Master went fishing? No, we've got to know what sin is. And whatever the law said not to do, the royal law of liberty said not to do, that's sin. And the breaking of that law is sin. But don't get in the habit of going fishing and hanging out on the riverbank somewhere about half nude and so forth, waiting around. Don't do that, because there'll be people coming along to see that and inquire as to who that is, and they'd say they went to 28th and Wilson, and then they'd brand this place as a very bad place. And don't go to some creek where there's no fish biting.